You're listening to Navigating Eldercare, where you'll find guidance and answers for every step of the eldercare journey. Each week, eldercare advocate Laura Daniels brings you expert insights and practical solutions to help families and professionals make confident care decisions.
Welcome back to Navigating Eldercare. I'm your host, Laura Daniels, and in today's episode, we are going to talk about independent living. And here today, we have Tina Tedford, who will talk about independent living. Independent living is a choice many families consider, but often is misunderstood. And my guest today, Tina from Franklin Park Sonterra, who has over 30 years of experience helping seniors and families discover the freedom of community and peace of mind that independent living brings. And together, myself and Tina, we will explore what sets independent living apart, what daily life looks like, and why planning ahead can make all the difference for older adults, for seniors, and for their loved ones. Tina, thank you so much for being here. I am honored to have you. We both share a passion for older adults and seniors, so thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Laura.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Tina, and how you started your work with in independent living, assisted living?
So I got started in the industry about 30 years ago. That's when there was only nursing homes. And then they created assisted living and independent living. And I became a regional and traveled throughout the country to look and help each company grow throughout the nation. I got bored with that and wanted to get back on site to help families solve their own problems here locally. And I never grew up with grandparents. I lived overseas all my life. So getting to know these elder residents was fascinating to me, to learn about their interests, their history, and their families.
Tina, can you share a little bit about your role at Franklin Park and what drew you to senior living? What was your inspiration? You spoke a little bit about your grandparents, but tell us a little bit about what you do at Franklin Park Sonterra.
I'm the sales and marketing director, so when interest piques somebody, I'm the first person that they call upon. And I take the tours with them. I problem solve with the families.
What makes Franklin Park's approach to independent living unique, Tina?
In short, we are senior living with style. Independent living is about a lifestyle, hospitality experiences, events. And we have a big variety of diverse seniors in our community that come together in one neighborhood. Some people come to solely focus on companionship, while others are more interested in just our amenities.
Tina, in the work I do in assisting families and finding care options, often families get confused with independent and assisted living. They think it's a nursing home. But can you explain to us what are the differences between independent living and assisted living?
Assisted living individuals need staff available 24/7 to help with medications, bathing and dressing, and usually assistance with reminders and escort service. We even offer respite care for individuals that need temporary recovery or to come and just to kick the tires. However, we at Franklin Park Sonterra are independent living. We're like a hybrid in that we have partnered with resources that allow our residents to remain in independent living. They can hire private caregivers, they can hire home health, physical therapy, occupational therapy. We even have physicians groups that rounds weekly in our independent living. Here again, it's just about freedom and choice.
Tina, what type of older adult, what type of senior is independent living best suited for?
I'm going to give you several contrasting independent living people because they are all different. And this might help your audience understand the type of resident that comes to call on me. So let's talk about Bill and Susan. They're what I consider a proactive couple. They're 72, they're 70, they're both retired, they had great careers. Their living situation is they're in a 2-story suburban home. Their kids live nearby and their grandchildren. And they're pretty healthy, they're active, and they're financially comfortable. They love traveling. However, they're getting kind of tired of the upkeep of the house. And they want to know that when they leave to go to travel, that they don't have to maintain a home. So it's that freedom to travel, kind of lock and leave, if you will. They want amenities like the fitness center, the walking trails, and they want to plan ahead. They don't want to wait till it's too late. Their perception, maybe their hesitations, could be that they don't want others to think that they're too young for senior living. And they also usually think that it's a little overwhelming for them to think about downsizing. So my approach to this couple would be, independent living it's smart that you guys are being proactive, and that this does give you the opportunity to lock up your home and leave and go travel the world. And then I offer them downsizing workshops to help them figure out how to make this move. And then we have another resident that might be Margaret. Margaret's a widow. She's 78. She's in a 3-bedroom home. Her husband passed away. Her children live out of state. Margaret is still vibrant. She's independent. She's sharp-minded. She still drives. But she doesn't enjoy it anymore, especially at night. She loves gardening. She loves reading. But she's really starting to feel isolated. So that's when I come in and offer her companionship with dining. We have a great menu at Franklin Park. We offer breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and the residents can pick 3 off of 3 entrees that they're offered. We even have a licensed bar that's opened on Friday. There's also a bistro, and Sunday's fun day. Sunday is brunch day. So this is a perfect setting for someone like Margaret because she's lonely. She doesn't like eating alone, and she wants to be more involved in the book club, the fitness center. Then this is our more typical resident that would come in is the reluctant senior, and let's just say Harold. He's 83. He's a widower. He's a retired mechanic. He still lives in his family home. He's somewhat isolated. And the adult daughter is the one urging him to move. And this is typically what happens is when the kids start getting involved. Harold's starting to slow down. He no longer drives, and he relies on his daughter to go take him to the doctors and to go grocery shopping. And the daughter, she's getting worried about his safety. And, of course, all Harold is saying to her is that, it's going to be a nursing home, and he fears losing his independence. And he's telling her, hey, it's cheaper if I live at home. He has a deep emotional connection to his home and his belongings. This is the type of person that I like to invite in just to come hang out with the gentleman. Maybe he's a veteran, and just to sit and have coffee with the guys, or maybe come to a happy hour to get the residents themselves to help them understand, like, hey, you're not giving up your independence. There's more to do here than sit at home and have the TV babysit you.
Mm-hmm. And Tina, so if someone's reluctant and not sure, they can reach out to you and go do a tour, correct? Or just go in and have lunch or dinner, breakfast, and visit Franklin Park Sonterra, just so they can get a visual of what a day looks like. How can they reach you, Tina? Can you give us your phone number?
Sure. My phone number is 210-404-1444. It's Franklin Park Sonterra, and just ask for Tina. And that is what I love to do. I love people to come in I don't have that big sales approach. It's just an introduction. Come have lunch. Come have dinner. Come to an event that we're hosting. Even last week, I had a blood drive. Then we had a black and white party where everybody dressed up in black and white. We had steak, we had shrimp, and then we all went up to the Franklin room and had entertainment. So those are very non-intimidating approaches to get introduced to independent living.
Great ideas. Tina, one of the things I love about you is you're very creative. You're an out-of-the-box thinker. And one of the questions that we get a lot is when I'm helping a family and it's mom and dad, and mom is very independent and dad needs assistance. So when they think about independent living, they love Franklin Park Sonterra, but they're reluctant because they feel that they need to be separated. So how do you get creative and how do you solve that problem of having both of them in the same place in independent living?
I have that setting a lot more than people think. A typical couple might be that the husband is independent, still driving. She may have early onset dementia, but is still very high functioning. What I do is I set up in-home care for maybe a couple hours a day when there's things on the calendar to help improve his quality of life so that he doesn't feel like he has to stay in the apartment to look after her while the caregiver's there. He knows I can go down and play poker, I can go play pool with the guys, I can go to the happy hour, and knowing that she's just down the hallway with safety.
Tina, for our listeners to get a visual, what does that look like in walking time to get from one building to another?
Typically, it's like 3 minutes to get to. Our apartments are separate from our clubhouse. So the clubhouse is where it's all happening. It's where the art room is. It's where the card room is. It's where the fitness center is. It's where the dining room is. It's where the indoor pool is. So for them just to walk from their apartment to the clubhouse is probably 2 to 3 minutes. And the same with our assisted living. I have scenarios where a couple, one may be in independent living because the other has progressed where they do need that 24-hour care. But the nice thing about our community is independent living and assisted living is in the same building. There's just a door that separates it so that they feel like they're not abandoning their loved one. They just go through a double door. They can visit as often as they want and still have their independence.
This is one of my favorite pieces of all this. Tina, tell us a little bit about daily life and all the amenities that Franklin Park Sonterra offers. What does a typical day look like for a resident in your independent living community?
So I'm thinking of another couple that are very active, but she likes to sleep in. So he likes to get up in the morning, go get his coffee at breakfast and hang out with the guys, have breakfast. And then he picks up his wife's breakfast while she's sleeping in. And then she usually gets up, she'll go, we have 3 different exercise classes that they can choose from. And she'll get up, go do her exercise where he's getting caught up. He has a beautiful office and he still works from home doing a lot of investing. And usually in the afternoon is when he gets busy on what is offered on the Life Enrichment calendar. And that is maybe going out to the museum, playing poker with the guys. Mahjong is really big right now. I think it's the new trend nationwide, not only in senior living, but I think it's the new game. Matter of fact, we had a lady that moved in about 6 months ago that used to teach Mahjong, and she still does around San Antonio, and she moved in, so she's got everybody hooked on Mahjong right now.
I know the couple that you're talking about, they have a beautiful courtyard. Tina, so what other amenities are offered? How do you help residents stay active, social, and independent? You mentioned a little bit, but I know that there's so much more. I've seen your full activity calendar. What else comes to mind? So
we have several committees that the residents lead. A lot of our activities are resident-led at Franklin Park Sonterra, so we have a welcome committee Cheryl leads that. She has like 6 residents under her. So when you move into Franklin Park, you have a person assigned to you that invites you to lunch, to dinner. If they know that you're a bridge player, they'll connect you with the bridge groups. We have a safety committee. We have a resident council committee. We have a dining committee. So if you've been in the culinary industry and that is still interests you, you can get on the dining committee and help us with our menus. We have a library committee that the residents man the library, and then that connects with the book club. That's just to name a few. Remember when Kerrville flooded? Yes. And the devastation? The residents formed a committee to fundraise for Kerrville, and they raised over $8,000, and they donated all that money to the Salvation Army in Kerrville. So they're very active and engaged still in life.
And Tina, when we visit your community with families and residents that want to go see Franklin Park Sonterra, there's so much to do and the activity calendar is so full. What do you say to that family or that resident that's there to see Franklin Park when there's so much to do? Can they also be private and just stay in their room? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So we do have a lot on the calendar, but there's folks that are introverts and are not interested in all that. They've coming for more of the amenities versus the life enrichment program, and that's fine. We send out reminders. We give them the calendar. But that's up to you individually, whether you want to participate or not.
Yeah. And so they don't have to do everything that's on the calendar or jump on the shuttle. They can be as busy as they want to be or be private as well.
Exactly.
Correct. Tina, how does Franklin Park help ease the transition for both families and residents?
At Franklin Park, we help with the move. I have 2 moving companies that I work closely with, and they help with downsizing because this is a huge objection. When I am asking somebody to commit and change their lifestyle, the biggest objection they have is that I have too much stuff, my kids don't want it, my kids are too busy to help me, and I don't have the energy to do this. So I partner with my moving companies. They will go to your house, pick out what's important to you, what's meaningful to you. They put things in storage. They have estate sales. They do everything from packing, unpacking.
When we think of planning ahead, Tina, why is it important for families to explore independent living before something happens, before a crisis happens? Why is that important?
Pre-planning is so important. This is when your parents need our services. They know which community they're interested in. They need to start doing their due diligence now. The thing with the adult child is that they feel like they have to look first before they've even asked their parents questions. And what I mean by that is there's so many adult children that come in, oh, my parents and I are here just to look around to see what you offer. And then when I'm doing some discovery and sitting around the table with them, they don't know what their parents' budgets are. They don't know what their directives are in life. And so all this is brought out in my first visit, which really I would highly recommend that children sit down and have these conversations privately with their parents, because when I ask them, strangers will tell me anything, and the adult child is very surprised to hear some of their answers from their parents.
You have dedicated so much of your career in helping elder adults live well and age with purpose. Tina, what message or piece of advice would you like to leave with families who are just beginning to explore senior living options, specifically independent living?
I feel like older adults are not slowing down. They're thinkers, they're artists, they're bridge players, they're volunteers, and wisdom keepers. Many are managing physical or cognitive changes, but, they remain deeply engaged in life. Many come to me thinking this is the end, but really this is a new chapter and an exciting new journey for them.
If you could change one perception, Tina, about independent living, what would it be, and what do you wish that every family understood about the kind of life their loved one is able to have in a community like Franklin Park Sonterra?
I really think that it is more, think of it as more downsizing into a resort-style community, not moving into a facility. That's the perception that they have.
That's a great example. Tina, in closing, you've seen so many residents flourish once they move in. What is that one story or that one moment, and we all have so many of them, but if you could think of one moment that reminds you of why you do what you do and why you do it with such love and passion?
Recently, in about six months ago, I had an individual come in, beautiful lady, dressed really nice, with her son, who has a great career, and she had a dog with her. And a lot of people, elderly, have dogs with them. And but this individual dog was a service dog. And she introduced herself and told me that she was totally blind. And I said, just recently were you blind? And she said, no, I've been blind all my life. And so I assumed, which I should have never assumed, that she was here for assisted living. When I started chatting with her, I told her, hey, I have never toured a blind person, so you're going to have to help me help you. So together we toured. We had a lot of fun. It was an 1.5-hour tour. And she decided to move in. But what was so impressive about this lady is that she is teaching so much to our residents. When she first moved in, I was so worried about her getting around and navigating that I set up occupational therapy to show her around her room, how to get to the clubhouse from her apartment. We had the service dog people come in and retrain her dog to show her around the community. And that is the only dog that is allowed in our country club style dining room. But everybody loves Jack the dog. And you don't even know that the dog is there. But this lady is amazing. And every day I see her, I just say, I'm the one who's blessed, because she has so much to offer.
Yeah. That's a beautiful story, Tina. Tina, thank you so much for joining me today and for sharing your insights on independent living. It is clear that these communities like Franklin Park, Sonterra offer more than just a place to live. They provide that connection, that safety, peace of mind, that sense of fellowship with just a vibrant lifestyle that helps older adults be happy and thrive and have purpose. For those families who are listening, I encourage you to explore independent living before something happens. Just go visit. You can call Tina. One of my favorite things about Franklin Park Sonterra is the food, the dining experience. I encourage you to call Tina, have lunch with her. You get to have a great meal and visit the community, have a tour, see what Franklin Park Sonterra is all about. And Tina, thank you again for being here. You and I share that passion and love for older adults. Can you give us your phone number one more time? How can our listeners get a hold of you for a tour or just questions?
Sure. My number is 210-404-1444, and my name's Tina Tedford, Franklin Park Sonterra. And I'm usually always available unless I'm on a tour.
And it's not just about going and visiting Franklin Park. If you have questions about anything that she talked about the move and just having those questions with your family members, you can reach out to Tina. I want to thank you again for joining me on Navigating Elder Care, where we bring guidance and answers for every step of the elder care journey. If you are a family member, a hospital case manager, or a healthcare provider, and you know someone facing a change in health or just planning for future care needs, Care Advocates is here to help you find the right care at the right time. Whether it's independent living with Tina, assisted living, memory care, we bring a lot of community trusted resources into your home as well. We walk alongside you every step of the way. Our commitment is simple: care, compassion, and a lifetime support. For a free consultation, you can call me at 210 888-669-2222. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share this podcast, and visit advocatern.com for helpful resources. If you have a question or an idea for a future episode, you can also email me at Laura, Laura, at advocatern.com. You can also listen to past episodes on YouTube or listen on your favorite podcast application. You can also listen to us here every Sunday at 8:30 on 9:30 a.m. The Answer. I am Laura Daniels, and this is Navigating Elder Care, helping you find the right care at the right time for the people who matter the most. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you, Tina.
This has been Navigating Elder Care with Laura Daniels, providing guidance and answers for every step of the elder care journey. For a free consultation, call 210-669-2222 or email Laura at advocatern.com. Catch every episode on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, YouTube, your favorite podcast app, or at advocatern.com.